good morning. I just wanted to let you know that I'm still in the book of Revelation, and in my study I'm like in chapter 11, but with you I'm still in chapter 1, and there's just so much that I'm learning. I don't know how to convey it all, but anyway, in chapter 1 I'm in verse 10, and I just want to read it to you and kind of explain to you what I'm learning. Please understand, this is nothing that I have made up. This is all that I am learning through Beth Moore's study here and now, then and there. And so I don't want you to think that this isn't anything that I've made up. This is what I'm studying and what I'm deducting from her study. But verse 10 says, "On the Lord's day I was in the Spirit, and I heard behind me a loud voice like a trumpet." Now, she took a little time to explain what, when it said was in the Spirit. And there is great, there is great differing opinions about every single thing in the book of Revelation. But in this part right here, some people believe that he fell into a trance. Some people believe that John was actually ushered up to heaven just for a brief time. Some believe that it was nothing more than he was praying and being filled with the Spirit, and this is what he saw in a vision. What was made clear is that it doesn't matter what it was, but there was a huge concentration and connectiveness with the Spirit, possibly like John had never had before. And that is what is available to us today as we wake up and start our day, and we want to say, "Lord, fill me with your Spirit. You never leave me nor forsake me. You never take your Spirit away from me. But I want you to fill me up today so that I can live in the fullness and the power and the awareness of you." So in the Spirit. So then, in verse 12, it goes on and it says, I turned around to see a voice that was speaking to me. When I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among them, among the lampstands was someone like the Son of Man. And then it describes what he looks like. Before I explain about the lampstands, let me say that when it describes what we believe to be Jesus in this vision, what he looks like a double-edged sword coming out of his mouth, and it just doesn't sound very beautiful. But what I want you to keep in mind is this description of Jesus it's basically saying it is like nothing you've ever seen in all your life. It is like no movie that could be created. It is more beautiful, more different, more glorious, more anything than we could ever imagine. And so when it says, white as snow, his eyes were a blazing fire, that is not something by no means grotesque, but not something just so weird. It's just beyond what we could imagine. Okay, now back to the lampstands. Back in the book of Exodus, when Moses was building the tabernacle and all of that, there was a menorah, and this basically was a lampstand with 7 branches, and that is what was stood for the church in Judaism. Well, since Jesus came and completed all of that, now what we see when it says he saw 7 golden lampstands, and among them was one walking. What she explained is that this will eventually be the perfect church. There will be 7 lampstands is the number of completion, of perfection. And so basically it's saying that Jesus walks among the churches. And so no matter how dead you think your church is, Jesus Christ is there every time the doors are open. And he never leaves. And so then in chapter 2 and 3, we're going to see the letters that John is asked to write to these particular 7 churches that could be very well-intended, available churches, but it also can be a representation of what we have today. But anyway, it's just so neat that Jesus was walking among the churches, and wow, won't that be so cool one day when it's our church is perfect and Jesus is walking, and I'm just excited for that. Okay, and then the last thing I want to go over, because I don't want to go too long, is okay, after he saw, verse 17, when I saw him, talking about Jesus, I fell at his feet as though dead. Just an awareness and a fear of God that I'm not sure we have today, and we need to pray for that. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, do not be afraid. Okay, this is what is just so important here. God, in all his glory and power and all that was displayed at this moment, still took time to reach down and touch John and speak to him. And I want to say to you today, no matter what mess you're in, no matter what sin you have been about, no matter what you don't know, Jesus is still there to reach down, to touch you, to pick you up and say, don't be afraid, pursue me. Don't be afraid, come to me. Don't be afraid. I am here for you. I want to touch you. Jesus, Miss Beth Moore went on to say that Jesus has a touch of comfort, but also a touch of commissioning. When he reaches down to meet us where we are, to touch us with comfort, because God is, he is that. But it's also a touch of commissioning. Don't be afraid. Why does he not want us to be afraid? Because he has something for us to do, a very purpose, a very plan, as we learn in Jeremiah 29:11-13, a good purpose for our lives. And we've got to discover what that is. Jesus wants to meet with us. Okay, that is basically Revelation 11. When you hear about the 7 lampstands and the 7 stars are symbolic possibly of the pastor or the elders or those that are responsible and held accountable for each of those churches, the pastors of today. That's huge. Whoa! Okay, I will talk to you later. Didn't mean to go so long. Hope you stayed there with me. Love to hear from you. See ya. Bye.